Shed and Buried revolved around Sam Lovegrove for a long time. A wrench, some quick thinking, and a wealth of knowledge about vintage motorcycles allowed him and Henry Cole to unearth priceless artifacts, breathe new life into long-lost classics, and joke around like brothers. Yet, Sam disappeared somewhere in the middle of the fourth season. No farewell scene, no words, nothing at all. Complete silence. Where did he go? And why did he go? Were the questions that followed the quiet. There were hypotheses, but no conclusions. Why? Because the audience was unaware of Sam's backstory. When he locks the doors to his workshop in Cornwall, it's not merely a collection of tools and vintage engines. Someone needs to figure out what the secret is. Sam Lovegrove is well known to all vintage bike enthusiasts. His attention to detail, physical construction abilities, and passion for repurposing vintage bicycles set him apart. Many are familiar with his work from his appearances on Shed and Buried, Find It, Fix It, Drive It, and other similar shows, where he skillfully revives vintage machines using only a few simple tools and his extensive knowledge. The cameras and the fans weren't around when Sam's story started. His passion for tools, along with his interest and drive, led him to this decision. Sam was born and brought up in the English West Country. That child was never far away. As the other children played catch outside, he was buried up to his waist in engine parts inside the shed. Mechanisms were something he was attempting to decipher. That early fascination with mechanics wasn't something I picked up in the classroom. He started by teaching himself how to disassemble bicycles and reassemble them until they were functional again. I found the math and other subjects to be relatively easy in school. After realizing his potential in the scientific and mathematical realms, he enrolled at Oxford Brookes University to major in mechanical engineering. Not only that, he excelled. He completed with honors. His real-world experience and academic prowess made him stand out. When most people were still unsure of what they wanted to do, Sam was busy fixing up old bikes so they would run again. Fixing machines wasn't his only specialty. He was preserving pieces of history. Word got around. Soon opportunities started to present themselves to him as a result of his hard work and skill. Becoming a TV star, however, was never really the intention. Sam Lovegrove began his career in design engineering with a lot more practical experience while working at Gemini Accident Repair Centers Limited. At the time, he was primarily concerned with improving the performance of various automobile engines, suspensions, and gears. But it wasn't merely yard labor. It was cutting-edge technology. The type of job that subtly prepared him for what was to come in his life. After Gemini, he went on to something a bit more challenging by joining Honda Performance Research as a research engineer. Things heated up at that moment. Among the many amazing vehicles on which he worked are the mean Corvette C7R Lemon and the slick Honda NSX. That wasn't the end of it either. Aston Martin, Jaguar, and Lotus were among the illustrious clients of Sam's engineering services. At that point, he wasn't merely competent. As time went on, he became renowned as one of those unsung heroes in the high-performance car industry. Next, a turn of events occurred. Sam encountered Henry Cole at some point during their journey. Unlike most motorbike fans, he was a TV host whose job it was to change people's perceptions of bikers due to his immense love for riding two wheels. He loved vintage motorcycles above all else, was a little bit of a free spirit, and possessed an odd charisma. Upon meeting Sam, Henry realized this expert possessed more than just skill. Oh, he was there. What made Sam's explanations intriguing was his delivery. The ease with which he explained and demonstrated even the most intricate mechanical processes. Sam made his television debut on a motorbike show with Henry. Everything went swimmingly. Near him, people felt at home right away. Smart, cool, and obviously utterly smitten with the craft, he was just being himself. That is the origin of the motorbike show. It was more than your average bike show when the actors hit it off. It was immediately beloved by fans. Road trips you will never forget, passionate races, and tributes to legendary motorcycles were all part of the experience. But the fact that it looked so genuine was what really set it apart. The show had heart because Henry cared deeply about it, and Sam was an expert on the subject. That was just bikes. It revolved around the many associations that people have with these devices, through their stories, memories and connections. In the premiere of Season 2, Henry had the opportunity to ride the extremely rare Bro Superior Super Sports. Subsequently, he tackled the renowned Yellow Peril, a 1960 Norton Commando production racer that severely challenged his abilities. Henry and Sam's restoration of a vintage WLC Harley was a fan favorite by the 7th season. The legendary Enfield Bullet made a triumphant return in parts 3 and 4, and Sam proved to be an expert pilot. His explanations made perfect sense as long as the task at hand was technically challenging and grimy, the kind that would turn your hands black from grease. He was able to acquire a genuine following and the respect of his peers, thanks to his humble demeanor. Thanks to the success of the motorbike show, Shed and Buried were able to join in. All across the United Kingdom, people have a treasure trove of old cars stashed away in barns and sheds, waiting to be restored. That is also what Henry Cole and Sam Lovegrove intend to achieve. One dusty shed at a time, these two are restoring the country's mechanical heritage, which includes everything from vintage automobiles and motorcycles, to dilapidated tractors and even boats. If they could earn some money selling these items along the way, that would be fantastic. British people have a reputation for being eccentric, and many of them like to do odd jobs in their backyards. Henry and Sam should be there. Henry adds charisma and vigor to the hunt, because of his love of motorcycles and his penchant for finding great deals. Conversely, Sam is an engineering genius, who can restore engine sound to nearly any mechanical device. As a unit they are effective. A deal maker and a fixer are opposites, but their escapades aren't without their share of challenges. A lot of problems arise as a result of Henry's eagerness to talk. On occasion he would purchase a vehicle before Sam had the opportunity to thoroughly inspect it. However, Sam frequently gets distracted by tools that he desires for himself, which can divert their attention. Their stress, banter and infrequent fights make their collaboration entertaining to watch. Seeing Eddie Roberts' collection in Leicester stands out as a memorable event. The focal point was a unique 1962 Greaves Sportsman. Sam refused to give in to the seller's exorbitant demand, even though the item was clearly worth far less. He was quick to point out the issues, and was unwilling to pay a premium. The most enjoyable aspect of the 2016 season was the conversation that was recorded. Sam refused to back down, explaining that he was simply protecting the true worth of vintage machinery from those who thought they were being cheap. More viewers tuned in to the show because of that daring move. The next thing they knew, they stumbled upon a shed in Cornwall brimming with dilapidated agricultural machinery. Among the wreckage, someone had stashed a Ferguson T20 tractor. It was precariously held together. The chance presented itself to Sam immediately. By disassembling it and rebuilding it from the ground up, he created a stunning machine that functions flawlessly. The high amount it fetched at auction proved they were more than just performers. Repairing things was their specialty, and they had a knack for turning rust into gold. There was another memorable event in Northern Ireland. After years of neglect, a Land Rover with actual combat experience was unearthed on a peaceful farm, concealed beneath hay. Its historical significance was immediately apparent to Sam. He kept an eye on the restoration process, and made sure the original components were secure. When it was eventually sold, it fetched a pretty penny. But not everyone was happy. The farmer who had previously owned it claimed that the couple had inflated the value in order to seal the deal. Henry brought up the issue in the news, but Sam remained silent. His work was unapologetic in its presentation. More and more people started watching when the show started to improve. Henry and Sam's apparent friendship was well received. Henry's charisma and Sam's steady comprehension and forthright demeanor. Shed and Buried was popular for more than just its cool finds. The core storyline revolves around friendships and fights. Sam was different from everyone else. He became a fan favorite due to his genuine passion for restoring vintage motorcycles, and his down-to-earth, no-nonsense attitude. He wasn't your average television repairman. His name became well known and respected in the world of classic car restoration. Once Shed and Buried gained momentum, Sam showed no signs of relenting. He maintained the tempo with the help of his trusted companion Henry Cole. Find It, Fix It, Drive It was another successful show that they co-created. On this occasion, their devotion to vintage machinery reached new heights, as they restored weathered artifacts into road-worthy classics. Observing the two friends go on an outrageous road trip was like being a fly on the wall. Discover a rundown vehicle, give it a little TLC, and then put it through its paces in an extreme test. Each time, it started in the same manner. They would scour barns, workshops, and sheds across the nation for the perfect vintage item to restore. As soon as they obtained something promising, time started to tick away. Behind the scenes, Sam would handle all the scientific details, and Henry would assemble the project with the help of his extensive network of experts. Nevertheless, every show's finales were the most enjoyable part. At that point, they took their shiny new ride for its maiden voyage, an adventure that typically required more than just engine power. In the final episodes, they would race vintage cars around the old banked track at Brooklands, engage in a plowing war with vintage tractors, or restore a legendary motorbike from the 1970s for a large custom show. Every one of them seemed like a joyous commemoration of perseverance, legacy, and passion. Grease and gears weren't the only eye-catchers. It was scientific in nature. Sam was highly knowledgeable in mechanics, while Henry was full of life and had a wonderful storytelling ability. Through their shared passion for repurposing vintage equipment, they transformed a straightforward restoration show into an epic tale of camaraderie and adventure. Because of that, fans continued to return. However, the flow stopped just as things were starting to adjust to one another. During the second half of the fourth season, viewers of Shed and Barrier couldn't help but notice that something was off. Sam Lovegrove had vanished. Soon after, inquiries started pouring in. Why was he absent? Had he departed for real? Since there were few clues provided by the show, the difficulty of the puzzle increased. After that, in March of 2022, Henry Cole arrived and brought everything up to date a bit. He posted a video in which he explained that Sam's absence was due to his illness with a bug. However, aside from that, very little was known. Everyone was wondering if Sam was merely on vacation or if he was really quitting the show permanently. While Sam was absent from the show, his relationship with Henry remained unchanged. In November 2022, Henry visited Cornwall to reconnect with a long-lost acquaintance. Much chit-chat, mirth, and effort went into Sam's latest endeavors involving vintage automobiles. Unlike what they saw on TV, fans could view a video of the visit, which gave them a glimpse into Sam's personal life. Even though he was absent from the show for a while, his devotion to vintage equipment and friendship with Henry were on full display in that film. Most people only recognize Sam Lovegrove from his television roles, which is a significant fact about him. Working primarily with the renowned British brand Bro Superior, he has subtly but surely become a formidable force in motorcycle technology. This isn't just any motorcycle company either. Bro Superior is well known for producing some of the most prestigious high-performance bicycles in the world. Sam, on the other hand, has been right in the thick of things. When Bro Superior was revived in 2013, Sam assumed the role of lead engineer. In 1991, the business was closed. He was skilled in more than just bike assembly. By reimagining a legacy, he hoped to revive the essence of the traditional tools and bring them into the contemporary era. Sam played a crucial role in ensuring that the handcrafted bikes lived up to the renown of the brand, working closely with company owner Mark Uff and the rest of the crew. Besides looking great, these bikes were very functional. Now we turn our attention to the Bro Superior 11C, a monstrous entry into the 1350 APS VF class that immediately caused quite a stir. The first time it tried, it reached 110 mm/4 mm before reaching 116 mm, returning at 82 mm, which is equal to 100, taking 68 more miles per hour than the previous AMA record. The bike was reclassified to the 1350 AVF class later in the week following adjustments to the settings and the amount of weight it carried. Birdsong departed. It was 122 in the first run, beginning at 61 mm and continuing up to 126 mm. At 0.75 mm, the final average was 24 mm. Another AMA record 334 miles per hour. As it turned out, that final run was the final motorcycle pass of the entire race. Everyone had to quickly seek shelter as a sudden downpour ended it. The team's head tech, Alistair Gibson, and rider Eric Patterson were overjoyed. The fact that the engine was smaller than the regulations for its class only added to its incredible design. However, the true showstopper was a bicycle known as the Baby Pendine. Sam did everything from setting up the 700cc machine to fixing it. It was record-breakingly fast. The Baby Pendine broke 2 records while out on the salt, one from the FIM and one from the AMA. Author Alan Cathcart is well known for his work on motorcycle. In the beginning it was more of a distressing at the age of 97, leaving Mapao at a speed of 60 miles per hour. But Alan hit 105 on the return after opening it 4,100 m/tier, or 100 m/tier, reaching a new record-setting speed of 328 miles per hour. Next up was TV host Henry Cole, who had a past in auto racing and had entered the Baby Pendine. Although he had never competed in a salt flats race before, he handled the event as if it were second nature. Despite facing a strong crosswind and executing a risky tank slapper, he achieved 198 miles per hour in the air and 103. With a final mile speed of 941 m/tier, he became the 750 AVF class AMA record holder. Even better for Henry and Sam was the fact that he had to endure a nearly 3-hour wait in line to get his shot. As the day progressed, the weather deteriorated further. The salt flats, however, were unaffected by the shifting winds. Little time was available. In the midst of getting Henry's bike checked out, they barely made it to the starting line. However, Sam wasn't merely observing. All the while he was making sure that every bike was up to his exacting standards for dependability and safety. The Bro Superior SS100 and other motorcycles he worked on helped establish his reputation as a master craftsman in the industry. Despite his extensive TV appearances and connections in the motorcycle scene, Sam Lovegrove remains largely unknown when the cameras aren't rolling. When people aren't staring at him, his life is peaceful. In the heart of Cornwall's woodlands, he resides with his wife and 4 children. It's more than just a peaceful neighborhood. Not only that, it serves as a refuge for him and his children, as it houses his expansive workshop brimming with vintage automobiles, an ongoing fascination. When Sam has free time, he usually spends it either with his family or fixing things. He isn't required to do them for his job. Tools and motorcycles are 2 of his most beloved things. This is more than just a job for him. He's always been this way. What motivates him on a daily basis is that kind of practical work and the curiosity to understand how things function. If Sam appears on fewer episodes of Shed and Buried now than in the past, he is still a major player in the classic car industry. Because of his laid-back demeanor and engineering expertise, he is an excellent beyond the set. He has garnered a great deal of admiration for his work on screen. Even if he doesn't return to television anytime soon, he will undoubtedly continue to play a significant role in the automotive and motorcycle industries. Once upon a time, Sam was just your average dude who enjoyed working on bicycles. As of late, he has become a famous and esteemed mechanic. In addition to his talents, he is well known for his honesty, passion, and ability to restore broken tools. The fact that he isn't in the limelight at the moment doesn't stop people from thinking about him. The story of Sam Lovegrove, who was a master restorer who stayed true to himself and his passion for his work, continues to inspire fans, gearheads, and other restoration enthusiasts around the world. Each and every one